O wonder beyond wonders, rapture, power, and amazement, that one can say nothing at all about the gospel, or even conceive of it, or compare it with anything. But the defenders of Judaism have snuck in to corrupt the one gospel, trying to fuse it with the law and the prophets to make a single body. From this union of law and gospel, they invent a fictional Christ. Peter and the others from James did not walk uprightly according to the truth of the gospel. In their wake, certain false apostles perverted the gospel of Christ, and these perverse gospels are accredited with apostolic names. But we know that our Lord said, "A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a rotten tree bear healthy fruit." The good Lord said, "One is good, God the Father." Yet the Creator affirmed, "I am He who creates evils, and behold, I send evils against you." The Creator made the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and commanded Adam not to eat from it. Thus the Creator, well aware that the first humans were going to fall headlong, himself put them on the edge of a precipice. And when humanity sinned, the Creator became a judge, stern and savage. The female is immediately condemned to bear children in sorrow and to be in service to her husband. Previously, she had heard of the increase of humankind without sadness. In the words of the blessing, increase and multiply. She had been intended to help the man, not for servitude. Straightway the earth also is cursed, which had previously been blessed. Straightway there are thorns and thistles where before there had been grass. When it was fertile with herbs and trees, immediately there is sweat and toil for bread, though before, from every tree there was livelihood without stint, and food in sure supply. From that point on, humanity is bent down toward the earth, who before was taken from earth. From that point on, humanity is turned toward death, though previously toward life. From that point on, they are in coats of skin, who before were naked and unashamed. The wickedness of the old world was unjustly smitten by a flood and afterward by fire. It was unjust that Egypt should be stricken with tenfold chastisement, since the Creator hardened Pharaoh's heart. The Creator unleashed bears from the thicket to devour little children and avenge Elisha the prophet for the mockery he had suffered from them. But the good Lord says, "Let the little children come to me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven." And he teaches that all who ever wish to be the greater must be like children. Moses says in the law, "An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth." But the Lord, because he is good, says in the gospel, "If anyone slaps you on the cheek, turn the other one to him." In the law it says garment for garment, but the good Lord says, "If someone takes your garment, give to him your undershirt as well." The one in the law ordered love for the friend and hatred for the enemy, while the good bid us to love even enemies. The Creator takes away foods and pronounces animals unclean, the very animals he elsewhere blessed. The Creator commanded burdensome sacrifices, annoying, meticulous procedures and oblations, as though he personally desired such things for himself. At the same time, he claimed, "What use to me is the multitude of your sacrifices? Who required these from your hands?" The law has made all manner of regulations, up to and including the care of cups and plates, so that men faced at every point with these legal teachings might never for an instant be occupied with the thought of God. But God said, "I will not drink the blood of bulls, and the eternal God neither hungers nor thirsts. Yet the Creator inclined to the sacrifices of Abel and greedily smelled Noah's whole burnt offering. What pleasure is there either in sheep's entrails or the stench of burning victims? To what purpose is the multitude of your services to me? I am weary of those solemnities, festal days, and Sabbaths of yours. The Creator ordered Moses as he left the land of Egypt, saying, Be prepared, have your loins girded, your sandals tied, your staves in your hands, and your wallets attached, cut off from the Egyptians gold and silver vessels and clothes. But our Lord, the good, when he sent out his disciples into the world, says, Don't have shoes on your feet, nor wallets, nor staves, nor 2 shirts, nor cheap coins in your belts. The Creator forbids labor on Sabbath days, and yet at the storming of the city of Jericho he commands the ark to be carried round during 8 days, which include the Sabbath. The Creator forbids the making of the likeness of anything in heaven and on earth and in the waters, saying, You shall not worship nor serve them. But the image of the bronze serpent, which this Lord afterward commanded Moses to make, was an instance of idolatry. I will smite, he says, and I will heal. I will slay, he says, and also make alive, by establishing evil things and making peace. He is fickle and inconstant, in forbidding what he commands and commanding what he forbids. The Creator is capricious concerning persons as well as institutions, when he expresses disapproval of men previously approved of, or when he lacks foresight in approving men who afterward meet with his disapproval. Here, he either reverses his previous judgment, or is ignorant of those he will afterward make. Saul, for instance, is promoted, but the Creator says, I regret that I have made Saul king. Solomon is rejected when he is in bondage to foreign wives and in subjection to the idols of the Moabites and Sidonians. And the Creator admits error in respect of the Ninevites, for Jonah says, God repented of the evil which he had said he would do to them, and he did not do it. The Creator did not know the location of Adam, saying, Where are you? And when Adam says he hid out of shame for his nakedness, the Creator asks whether it was because he had eaten from the tree, as though he was in doubt about it. But Christ knew the inner thoughts of human beings. The Creator demands of Cain where his brother is, as though he had not already heard the voice of Abel's blood crying out from the ground. The Creator cursed Cain, and even though Cain wanted to wash out his sin by death, for a time the Creator refused to let him die. The Creator descended to Sodom and Gomorrah, saying, I will see if they are performing in accordance with the outcry reaching to me, and if not, I will know. Do you see how from ignorance he is in doubt wanting to know? Do you see how the God of the law did not know what happened in Sodom unless he descended to see and sent those to learn? The Creator pointlessly and falsely swears by himself. What else could he imagine doing when he was unaware of the existence of any other God, and in fact was then and there taking a lying oath that beside him there is no other God at all? This God proved quite petty in his fierce anger when, in his wrath against Israel because of the consecration of the calf, he demanded of his slave Moses, Leave me alone, and I, outrageously angry, will destroy them and make you into a great nation. Here Moses was a better person than his own God, praying to soothe and even forbid his wrath, for he says, Do not do this, or else destroy me with them. Out of all the many lepers in Israel, Elisha the prophet of the Creator cleansed only one, Naaman the Syrian. Christ, by contrast, healed an Israelite whom the Creator had not been willing to heal. Elisha needed to use material water for healing, and it had to be applied 7 times. Christ, however, healed by means of a single simple word, and it was done at once. Elisha healed only one leper, but Christ healed 10 by means of his silent power, by word alone. The Creator did not restore the sight of Isaac suffering from cataracts, but our Lord, because he is good, opened the eyes of many blind people. David struck the blind and the lame with daggers when he attacked Jerusalem. But Christ healed the blind man who called him Son of David. The Creator said, "With ear you shall hear, and shall not hear." But Christ insisted, "The one who has ears, hear." Christ was giving back the hearing which the Creator had taken away. At the request of Elijah the prophet, the Creator sent a burst of fire to destroy 100 men. But Christ rebuked his disciples for even requesting to send down fire upon the Samaritans. Note the judge's sternness and contrast Christ's gentleness when reproving the disciples, as they call for the same punishment. The Creator rejects tax collectors as outside the law and unclean, but Christ, as one hostile to the law, chose a tax collector to be his disciple. The law forbids touching a woman who has an issue of blood. Christ not only permitted himself to be touched by such a woman, but he healed her as well. Moses intervened in the dispute of the brothers without being invited and rebuked the offender. "Why are you striking your neighbor?" He castigated Moses. "Who made you teacher or judge over us?" Christ, however, when a man demanded that he arbitrate a dispute with his brother over an inheritance, refused to take part, saying, "Who made me a judge over you?" Christ forbids divorce. The man divorcing his wife and marrying another commits adultery, and likewise the one who marries the divorced woman is an adulterer. Moses, however, permits divorce. If any man takes a wife and lives with her, and it happens that she finds no favor with him because something inappropriate has been found in her, he will write a bill of divorce, give it to her, and send her away from his house. Notice the contrast between law and gospel, between Moses and Christ. The prophet of the Creator, in order to kill as many as possible in battle, had the sun stand still that it might not go down until the adversaries of the people were utterly annihilated. But the Lord, since he is good, says, "Let not the sun set on your rage." The prophet of the Creator says, "My bows are taut and my arrows are sharpened." But the apostle says, "Put on the full armor of God, that you may be able to quench the fiery arrows of the evil one." The prophet of the Creator, when a battle commenced against his people, climbed to the top of a mountain and extended his hands to his God in order to slaughter masses of people in the battle. But our Lord, since he is good, stretched out his hands on the cross, not to slaughter human beings, but to save. O worthless Lord, unstable, unfaithful, withdrawing that which he established, his decrepit practices are accounted as foolishness, weakness, dishonor, pettiness, and contempt. What is more foolish, what more weak than the Creator's demand of bloody sacrifices and the stench of whole burnt offerings? What is weaker than the cleansing of dishes and beds? What more ignoble than the further dishonor of the flesh, which is already ashamed? What more pathetic than the demand of eye for eye? What more contemptible than the excluding of foods? This being is not the Father of Jesus Christ.